Man, classic Fantastic Four shirt. That's amazing.
Yeah, rest in peace, Marvel.
Yeah.
We are live. We are live, and welcome to
1963 to
88.
2001.
I'll take 2001. Yeah, maybe even 3.
Yeah. You know, I'm generous. Usually, I just round up to 5, but yeah, around 10, it was dead, and you couldn't even kick the corpse anymore.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Anyway, Drew, introduction. Sorry about that.
Welcome to another episode of Indie Comics Interviews, everybody. So glad to have you with us. We are expecting some more people. It seems like we have some laggers today, but you know that seems to happen when summer comes along, right? So you know, everybody's all like, "Oh, look."
Who would rather be outside than on the internet talking about comics with us three weirdos?
You know what? It just doesn't sound like it would be a logical choice, right?
I mean, there are mosquitoes outside, and they only suck blood. They don't just suck.
Dude, I actually had to deal with some mosquitoes last night. I went up to Bass Lake, which is a real beautiful, lake up here in this Central Valley, and it started the sun started setting. Started getting close to like 7 o'clock, and mosquitoes were out like monstrous. I mean, I can't imagine anybody wanting to stay outside at the lake, with that many mosquitoes. So
countdown until Drew gets canceled for doxing those mosquitoes.
I don't think I'm ever going to get canceled because I'm just, people might say, "Oh, don't listen to him," but nobody listens anyway. So.
Oh,
well, you got that. You're uncancelable if no one watches.
Cancel proof.
I'm cancel proof, right?
Yep.
Although, it's like if I ever get famous, they're gonna just, look through all the shit I pulled off before I was famous, and then they'll try and cancel me then.
No, Drew, you don't understand. They'll pull up your YouTube channel, they'll see me, and they'll immediately label you an alt-right influencer.
Is that how that works?
Exactly, yes.
It's not going to be the CG hashtags then, huh?
No. It's specifically relation to me. If I've read your comic or I've been on your show, you're ruined.
Oh, okay.
How did you develop this reputation, Church?
Well, I never showed my face, and I like some inappropriate tweets. Isn't that how the cool kids do it these days?
I wouldn't know.
No,
I also watch My Little Pony with my daughter, and that apparently makes me and her a Nazi now.
You're a bro Nazi.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, personally, I get canceled because, are blocked, you might say, just because of my friends.
Oh no, man, you're a Christian. You've got the target on your head already. You, Doug T, Mike F. Miller, you guys were done from day one.
I do get targeted a little bit nowadays on Facebook by some lefties.
Believing in a higher power. How fucking dare you?
Well, I don't understand. The same people who are okay. So like literally, like there's Jewish dudes who support Muslims,
Careful.
but bash bash Christians. I just don't understand that scenario. Like if you're Jewish, you know what I mean, and you're supporting Muslims, you're trying to be like tolerant to the Muslim community, but bashing the Christian community. How is that making sense? I mean, that is like really kind of backward and twisted in all kinds of different ways. Because Palestinians and Israelites are not supposed to get along. You know what I mean? There's like Muslims and the Jews are supposed to hate each other, right? So
It's about the circumcision.
The enemy of my enemy. You know the routine.
Is that what it was?
Is this the Sci-Fi Christian podcast? I didn't know we were going to talk about this. Let me go grab my Bible.
No, it could easily go there, but let's stick to the comics.
Okay.
Speaking of comics, since we have the great Chris Brawley with us tonight, we are going to talk some Whisper Network drama.
Oh no, we got to know what makes it great. Pretend I don't know who this person is. Pretend I didn't actually do any research for the show.
You do research? Oh, come on.
Yeah, we don't have to pretend.
We're not pretending, but tell me.
So Chris Brawley writes for Bleeding Fool, and Bleeding Fool has been doing a story series from information they get from Penny Parker. Is that correct?
Yep.
The name? Okay, from Penny Parker, which is obviously a fake name. Oh yeah. Oh no.
No, of course not. No, that's the alternate Spider-Man from the Robo.
Hey, that's a good. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, this is dimensional transplaced information, but it's a fake name.
Well,
fucking misogynist.
I will say this. I'll say this. So, Bleeding Fool is a comics-centered entertainment geek culture blog that leans right, that doesn't make fun of Christians, that thought Trump was pretty cool. That's sort of where we're coming from.
He was funny. He was definitely funny.
Well, I thought he was cool. I mean, he did a lot of great overseas
he was
business.
Cool, but he lost a lot of that cool at the end of the presidency. Like, he could have gone out with a bang.
Can't stay cool. Presidents can't stay cool.
I know, but he could have gone out with a bang, and he went out with a whimper, and it made me sad. Well, it made my insides feel bad.
At least the new president's not tweeting mean stuff anymore. So I mean, everything's okay now.
Right, mean tweets are gone. Our gas prices are just rising. Our unemployment skyrocketing. COVID's still out of control.
Yeah,
but
we're back to normal.
Mean tweets, guys.
That's right. We're back to the new normal.
Yeah, we're going back to war, but no mean tweets.
That's all.
Twitter is a good safe space now.
Well, if you have the right politics. So about 4 years ago, Bleeding Fool launched it. It's comic-centric. It's entertainment-centric. It comes sort of from the right. But we hold our own accountable, too, a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to say that we're, totally non-biased, because we're not. And about a year ago, I guess, a young woman approached me online about the website, and she had this information about a whisper network. She was, obviously Penny Parker is a pseudonym. If you look up Penny Parker, it's a reporter, a high school student that was turned in, was a sleuth who also worked as a reporter at her dad's newspaper. So she was kind of this Nancy Drew. So, I mean, it's obviously intentional, the pseudonym that our source uses. But our source is a woman, and she has a lot of connections in the comic book industry and exposed what we've dubbed the Whisper Network. Actually, we didn't really dub it. They've kind of called themselves that for years, or kind of poo-pooed the idea about a Whisper Network, which is basically just a group of ne'er-do-wells that have selfishly tried to hurt other people's careers and do it sort of behind the scenes. But unfortunately for them, just having a secret Facebook group doesn't mean you're actually behind the scenes, because everyone in the group can see what's being said. That's not a direct message. And Penny got out with some screenshots of a lot of stuff and exposed a lot of things that were going on. And if you type in the hashtag Whisper Network, probably on Twitter or Facebook, or just Google it or Bing it, whatever your pleasure, you'll find our articles, or you can search for Penny Parker and Bleeding Fool, and you'll get it. And the latest, really this last article, I mean, it wasn't necessarily the sort of expose that we're used to from Penny. It was really, I don't think Penny likes Heather, for one. So, it was some of that catty stuff was probably the reason. I got an email.
There goes my first guess.
Yeah, right. It was probably Thursday afternoon. It wasn't long after Heather Antos had made her mysterious tweet about, hey, this time tomorrow I've got big news. All my fans are going to be really surprised, or whatever. She's just a low-level editor. She's senior editor, actually, at Valiant.
What do you mean was?
Yeah, she's not at Valiant anymore. That was sort of what the whole announcement was that she was making a parallel move to IDW. So now
let let me ask this: does anybody understand like what the move to IDW represents? Like, is it a step up for her, or was she removed for problems at Valiant and just kind of had a safety net in IDW? Because I feel like that position at Valiant had been cemented for so long. Like, she was probably writing her own fucking paychecks at that place. But to move to IDW, which already has a much larger structure in place and a lot more checks and balances, feels really dangerous for Heather Antos.
I could only speculate because Penny is trying to find out what the circumstances were about the departure from Valiant. So Penny came to me with the story of basically, I know where Heather's going, and I know why she's not going somewhere else. She didn't know why Valiant and Heather were parting ways, and she didn't know who precisely was the one welcoming her at IDW. Because on paper it looks good. You know, Heather used to work.
We have Brian in the house.
Oh,
what's up? Apologies for my tardiness, and sorry for stepping on you, Chris. What's up, dude?
Did you step on me? Oh, is that what this is?
I personally still love you, Brian. I can't speak for the other two people, but me, I still love you.
I appreciate that. But I didn't mean to interrupt you, Chris.
I'm just talking about the cat fight, that's going on.
Oh, yeah. And is it Heather Antos now? Is it IDW?
Yeah.
Wasn't she working like a job in online gambling?
He was doing so well. Like just melt into his silky smooth voice.
She went from From comics to online gambling, and now back to comics.
You're right, Brian. You know what? I'm going to take this back just a little bit because Church brought up some good questions that I don't have the answers to. I could only speculate, but just in case there's a viewer, I know Drew's got a lot of viewers that may not keep up with comics.
A few.
Or this industry, but Heather Antos was a controversial editor at Marvel. Richard Meyer kind of pointed out that a lot of the books that she was doing, she just wasn't doing a very good job, whether it was misspellings or whether it was just sort of the characters were really that. I don't blame Heather that Marvel and DC don't really have strong editing arms anymore. It's almost like the creators get to do whatever they want. But Heather would get on social media and poke. She made a very distasteful April Fool's Day joke on Easter one year, and really it was just ripping off Eric Larson's joke from 1 hour earlier. But nonetheless,
Eric Larson is a fucking piece of work as well. But.
Well, I'm no fan of his either. But it's one thing for Eric Larson to do it because he's the COO of Image and he's an established creator. But for some low-level Marvel editor to be doing the same thing, well, I don't know. She just sort of was really smug. Then there was the whole milkshake incident. You can read all about all this crap on Bleeding Fool if you want.
Diversity! Yeah. And there's all good-looking, young, white females, and there's one black chick kind of pushing herself into the picture.
Yeah. Well, they were all fair complected.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, Brian. You said good looking. I don't agree on all counts. I feel like.
Well, you know what I'm saying. I'm saying they were likely hired because they weren't necessarily because they were very young and not necessarily hard on the eyes. If you know what I'm saying. I didn't see any fat chicks there. That's all I'm saying.
No, I get you. And at Marvel with guys like Crackshot and Tom Brevoort, they were probably I Dream of Jeannie walking in that place.
Oh, so you're saying they were Marvel 10s, California 5s.
Yeah, maybe so. So anyhow, eventually Heather just started getting a reputation for not being easy to work with, as I understand it, and she wound up making a unceremonious departure to, like what Brian said, to an esports gambling website, which I think that lasted about 3 or 4 months. That didn't last long. It may have lasted 6 months. I mean, I that's very granular. I don't keep up with her. As a matter of fact, I hadn't even thought about her until Penny Parker had approached me about this recent story, other than the other Whisper Network stuff. So she wound up going to Valiant, which shocked me. And then because Valiant was doing good for a while, And they're another one of those comic companies that has had a fairly cohesive shared universe. But ever since they did that,
she ruined Valiant.
In
well, she sure
2012,
didn't help. Yeah.
in 2012, when Valiant came back, it was freaking amazing until, they showed up and they started doing let's promote Hillary as the hero and Trump as the bad guy.
God.
Remember that
first
one?
Comic book, the first comic book to actually endorse a presidential candidate.
It was the first time, and that's after. And that's after I think Sony took over the company and kicked the original guy in charge, editor, out.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for introducing yourself, Sim.
And what's up?
What's up, you sexy MFer?
Jim Shooter.
Happy 420.
Happy 420, brother.
420.
Hey. Hey, speaking of, can I do a real quick product placement based on 420?
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
If you are a comic book shop, the Florida Man comic, the graphic novel, goes out in like 3 weeks. So we sent out a big email to all the Florida shops that if you want to get a 50% off discount on the books for your shop, you could go to floridamancomics.com and use the promo code 420Florida.
What if I walk into the shop? See, I thought you were going to say like you have to walk into the shop with like an alligator.
No, unlike Six-Gun Gorilla, these books still have not delivered yet, I'm afraid. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah. They are going out in 3
looks
weeks.
amazing. Everybody go back Florida Man if you haven't yet.
Florida Man Comics, you can still get your own copy before we start fulfilling.
Hell yeah.
But that's a little 420 special today. So Heather, she left there. She wound up being a senior editor at Valiant, which stunned me. And that's really, you're right, Sam. It was that election, the Faith Hillary endorsement book, when people just were like, man, this is not escapism. This is fanfic.
The Man of War reboot was stunning.
Dude, the last story, good story.
Good.
The last good story was when they did the entire future verse, and then they did then they started doing the Hillary, then they did the Russia version of the heroes. But the last one was it was all the version in the universe of Ray. That one was sick. That was the last good one.
Here's the thing. I used to when I guess I was in my mid-20s. I would go into my local comic shop on my lunch break at least once a week, and I would pick up a trade of either like Bloodshot or Division or just some Valiant trade that they had on display that week, and I would pick it up right off the display and buy it and read it on my lunch break and enjoy it, and come back the next month looking for either volume 2 of that trade or a new Valiant trade to read on that particular lunch break. And that's how good Valiant was. And then Heather Antos happened. And I pick up a Valiant single issue, and I open it, and I vomit inside my own mouth. And then...
Yeah, remember those? Can you share my screen for a sec, Drew? When they did the Stalin verse. That's why that was the name. Where there was all the Russian Stalin verse version of all the characters.
Right.
Well, I loved Venditti's take on X-O Manowar. I mean, it was one of the best comic series I ever read.
Yeah.
But
Bloodshot was good too.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say pre-Antos Bloodshot was the definitive Bloodshot for me.
Yeah.
Like, it's the reason that I
really
believed
good.
in Tommy Oliver playing in Bloodshot.
Dude, the Gary Nord beginning was awesome.
But think about it. That's been years. I mean, that was around 2016 that she went there. 2017 maybe.
Yeah.
I think they started in 2020.
No, she went there in 2018. But so it was already the ground was already fertile for her to come over. Yeah.
Well, it had to have been, because somebody just, in all reality, by the time that she was left Marvel and was working the casino route, I'm sure she already had a bad reputation in the comics industry. So for her to get a job as an editor at Valiant,
but it's when Sony took over.
Okay,
well,
so
in the comics industry, She had a
Can
good
you guys
reputation.
let the host speak, please?
No,
Everybody.
you're the host. You're supposed to let us speak.
Yeah, you invited us.
We're co-hosts.
So
So true.
what I was saying was that obviously to get the job at Valiant as an editor, somebody at Valiant had already had to have corrupted the landscape to even get her on board.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what I was saying, because that's when Sony took over. They kicked out the I forgot his name. He has a long name. But they kicked him out and they took over by small companies. And Sony technically runs it. Like they're the one that produced the movie Bloodshot, and he's the one that set it up in the beginning.
Well, I think that I don't know that Sony was there when the 2016 election issue came about. Were they? Did they own it then? But nonetheless, it lasted for about 2 years and 3 months. And so then now we're caught up to what happened last Thursday when Heather announced that, I've got a big surprise. Stay tuned. I'll make a big announcement here tomorrow. And that's when Penny reached out and said, hey, I've got a scoop for you. Can you get this published tonight before Heather makes her announcement in the morning? I said, well, what is it? So she tells me the story, and I'm like, okay, well, let's do it. And apparently, I'm going to tell you what the story was, what the scoop was, and then I'm going to tell you what the whole point, to me, what the buried lead of this whole thing is. All right, and you guys can interrupt all you want.
Just to answer your quick question, because I googled it, Chris.
Okay.
They started in 2012.
Yep.
Right. In 2015, that's when Sony partnered with them.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And who knows what the work culture was there? Maybe for a while, Sony let Valiant continue to do their thing. Sony observed it, and then Sony maybe came along and took things over and got a real SJW crew in there. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, the thing is Penny does not have the connections, the contacts at Valiant that she has at Marvel and DC.
But I don't get how they're getting everywhere. They're even a humanoid.
Oh,
I know. Mark
they're
even
rewrite
like all of Jodorowsky's comics to make them woke. Yeah. How much of an FU is that to like?
So who are the least woke indie publishers right now? Let's pause my story and is Ablaze. I say Ablaze is probably not worried about being toxic. They even took on Marvel, didn't they?
What about Dark Horse?
That's what I was gonna say, but no.
Dark Horse just announced a new thing with Aubrey Sitterson.
Yeah, but they took a big hit when Disney got Fox, because they lost Predator, Alien, Star Wars, all their big IPs. They lost them.
Yeah, they should.
It doesn't mean they're not woke, though. They might be woke to try anything.
That's my point. They took a big hit, so you're right. They're probably like. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. You know what I mean? The whole like woke movement is a lot to do with people not wanting to get boycotted. You know what I mean?
What I mean?
So yeah, so like a lot of these companies aren't woke. They just don't want to do the negative politics, so they're playing it safe.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Whereas, but the ones
they're one color, green.
Now
it's
the ones
it's craven.
Now the ones like Marvel that will like fuck up a whole like series. You know what I mean? Just because they want to mix in some diversity or something like that. That is being woke as a company, and that is where they really mess up comics. So there's like a fine line in between the two kinds of people that are just playing it safe for business purposes versus people that are actually trying to put like propaganda in comics.
So do we call it wokeism?
Wokeism.
Well, it's like with Star Wars, I know that after the firing of Gina Carano, the shareholders at Disney were not freaking happy.
No.
That's the thing. It's like, Chris, you're like, man, what a cowardly thing for them to do. But then you're like, yeah, that is true. You absolutely have a point. But then think of it from the point of view of their shareholders, right? Mm-hmm. It's like people are fucking with your money. You want to play it safe. They just made a tactical error in giving these people power and bending the knee to them, because it's the classic case of give them an inch, they take a frickin' mile. Mm-hmm. Look at The Walking Dead. I mean, I haven't watched it in a while, but I wouldn't be surprised if I turned it on and there was like a mute albino Eskimo transsexual in a wheelchair. It would
But
not surprise me.
I wouldn't expect The Walking Dead to do it because they were already diverse when they started. So
not diverse enough.
Well, you mentioned that thing with Disney. You mentioned the Disney Gina Carano thing, and Forbes. There was a Forbes article like the next day or a day later that was like, "This is a hypocritical move."
And the subscription
later, but
the subscription to Disney Plus went down like
the money people are starting to wake up, but I think that what's the problem is there's too much woke embedded in the work culture. So, all the money guys can gripe all they want, and they've actually kind of been griping a little bit at the shareholder meetings for a while, but that's not who's getting hired in the day-to-day granular level of the creativity. I mean, when Rian Johnson is still kind of twisting Filoni's arm saying, "Hey man, anytime you're ready for me to do a Mandalorian," if Bob Iger or Chapek had any balls, he'd say, "I don't want Rian Johnson anywhere near this property ever again. And but maybe Ryan's been told that, and he's, we're not told why things get out in the news. Sometimes it's intentionally leaked, and sometimes somebody just says something because they're trying to make something happen, and the people that they're trying to influence never respond.
The intentional leaks are usually pretty obvious, though.
Well, yeah, and I think that's been going on a lot at Lucasfilm. But, when it comes to Marvel, I mean, let's just think about Marvel for a second. Marvel is not going to do anything creative, awesome, cool, unsafe until maybe October or November, because when that Penguin deal begins, they're going to want to come out strong. They're not going to play their big cards until then.
Marvel will not be taking Marvel will not be taking chances. Okay, the same reason why Lucasfilms doesn't take any chances anymore, because they're owned by Disney. Disney has never taken chances since Walt Disney passed away.
I
saw
that their money's getting fucked with.
I saw something about the fact that Marvel is supposedly trying to get Zack Snyder to do a remake of Ghost Rider.
Well, hold on.
I'd watch that.
Yeah, I would too.
As far as the Penguin deal goes.
Yeah.
Right? And Drew said that Marvel's not going to take any chances because Disney never takes any chances. I'm going to double down on that, and I'm going to say Marvel's not going to take any chances because Marvel is owned by Disney. Disney just makes money. That's just what they do. Like, there's no reason for Marvel Phase 4 or 5 or whatever it is that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Like when they release new medium through Penguin, Disney is going to send down the mandate first and foremost that it has to tie into their MCU Disney Plus first.
Oh, I'm sure you're right. And as far as the MCU goes, in my mind, the MCU peaked in 2016 with Civil War, Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Everything before it was pretty much spot on or growing. Thor was okay.
You could count
really,
all the shit movies on two fingers.
Well, I'm not excited at all. And the new Shang-Chi trailer.
Dude, the Shang-Chi trailer? Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, guys. Like, I know we're getting off the subject here, but I just gotta rant about this for a second. I really do need to get this off my fucking chest.
What the hell's wrong now?
The Shang-Chi trailer. Did you see that shit?
No, I didn't. That's why.
It's depressing as
awful.
Fuck.
Really?
It's so depressing. What would you think? Okay, Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. What are you gonna do? You're gonna get somebody like Iko Uwais. You're gonna get somebody like Tony Jaa. You're gonna get those motherfuckers like the stunt crews from Malaysia and Thailand, and you shoot it for $5 million. You make it look expensive as fuck, and it's nothing but people fucking Donnie Yen, all those motherfuckers, right? Do it like a Deadly Hands of Kung Fu the movie, right?
Yeah.
They would make $1 billion. All right, I'm done. I had to get that shit off my chest.
Dude, I totally agree with everything you just said, Brian. I have nothing to add to that. I have nothing to take away from it.
Tony Jaa, hello.
I felt this way.
Hello.
I felt the same way when they tried to do Iron Fist.
Yes.
Yeah, Iron Fist was
we're gonna back
Luke Cage was and as a matter of fact, 2016, I say they MCU peaked. Then that was the second season of Daredevil. I mean, it was great. Everything they were firing on all cylinders. All cylinders.
Man.
Can the religious building get in for a second, please?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. To take
Our
it
time's
back,
up.
Yeah, there's
Everybody's all fired up tonight.
I have
to
to
take
say,
it
though,
back to what Chris said.
can you get closer to your mic or something? Because you're very low compared to everybody, Church.
Oh, is that better?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So,
Anytime,
2016
Church.
is when the MC.
now,
I know
now
where
you're
you
just
live,
fucking
and I've
with them.
seen where you sleep. Anyway, 2016 is when the MCU peaked. And then most people that followed the MCU to that point believed that the MCU technically ended with Endgame, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, WandaVision was okay, and that was kind of an accident.
Yeah.
And Captain America, Falcon, Winter Soldier is failing miserably.
Yeah.
That's what we expected. I expect Doctor Strange to be good because, when Gilbert Flappy back, he can do no wrong.
Well,
But-
also Sam Raimi,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Director of Darkman and
Yeah.
the
Right.
first
But that's
two Spider-Man movies.
yeah.
He's going to get Spider-Man
Evil
4
Dead.
out of this movie, whether you like it or not. I just want you to know that.
Oh, I'm not. Listen, Kevin Feige is awesome, and I know they're going to make a few more good movies. I'm just saying this Shang-Chi was a massive meh. And where's the Eternals? And not that I'm anxious to see it,
God.
because they're going to completely trash Jack Kirby's legacy with that.
When the New Gods movie got canceled, I was like, yes!
Hail Darkseid.
But that's the thing that I thought was that is weird, because they went to get Sam Raimi to do the next Doctor Strange, right? And like I said before, I read about like them trying to get Zack Snyder to do Ghost Rider.
That's
I would
news
love
too.
to
I
watch
haven't
that.
seen
Dude,
that.
I would love to see that.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that too. I would love to see them start doing the Marvel monster movies. But here's the thing: everything has to be a tentpole picture now.
Yeah.
They need to start doing smaller movies. Do you know what I'm saying? For like $20 million, not everything has to be fucking Avengers 4. And like Shang-Chi, they're like, oh well, it'll be like Black Panther for Asian people.
Okay, well let's wait. There's one thing you got to remember now. Okay, so Marvel, when the MCU started, was not owned by Disney. All right, so now there's the Disney factor. Okay, which changes everything, because Disney's audience is under 15. All right, they don't care about anybody older than that. And if adults, you know what you are to them? You are the money that spends on little children. Those of us who don't have kids, Disney doesn't care about us. Those of us who buy comics, they don't. Disney. We're like, we are just fluff on the side to Disney.
That's so true.
To double down on Drew's point, as a father, I have a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old. I hate what they did with the Mandalorian. I fucking hate what they did to the Marvel movies and the TV shows. But you know what? There's no goddamn way that Frozen isn't streaming in my house right now.
Oh, you know every word to that motherfucker, don't you?
Well, if you think about it, Disney bought Star Wars.
Up in this bitch.
I'm so happy my younger girl's not hearing you right now. She would sing it.
But you know, Disney bought the Star Wars brand to appeal to boys.
Exactly.
They had the princesses lined up, so Star Wars was supposed to appeal to boys, and then they flipped it, and now everything is female centric. Every one of the main heroes.
Well, wait, hold on. Let's take that back.
Everything's turning into a soap opera.
They didn't buy. They bought. Hold on. They bought Marvel to appeal to boys. They bought Star Wars because they were already in the family and it was going up for sale, because they were already owned to Jim Henson. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to be a lunatic to pass on that.
And they were already working with IDW, right? Not IDW, but I mean, International Light ILM. They were still working. They were already working with ILM, right. And so because with the Lucas sale came ILM, they bought it. That is why they went after it. And then they put Kennedy in charge, because Kennedy had already worked with George Lucas and he approved her positioning. So the thing is that somebody got a little power crazy, and then Disney's all like, okay, we want this. So instead of targeting little boys, like if she had done, the series would have blown up. None of us would be even complaining about it. Just the truth of the matter.
No.
They targeted little girls with Star
Well,
Wars instead. And now Disney already had the little girl market locked up. So there may have been a little bit of influence. Like, we have princesses, we do this. Why don't you do that? There may have been some influences on that. But as far as the MCU goes, they actually did buy that to appeal to little boys. And because little boys were already buying the stuff, the costumes, and it was already a massive market.
Think about what you just said, though, with the girls. Now, everything Star Wars, Marvel, even the Muppets. 6 years ago, I would have said, man, those are all stellar brands. I like all that stuff.
Yeah, how could you lose?
And now Marvel is starting to wane my desire. I mean, I'm going to watch Black Widow. I don't know what I'm interested in next. I guess the Doctor Strange one. I'm definitely going to check out the Sony Spider-Man 3 because it's just going to be totally gonzo from what I'm hearing.
Doctor Strange is my number one. I honestly, I don't want to even watch Black Widow because Black Widow is kind of like a patsy film to say, okay, well, we care, but we didn't care enough to include it in phase one.
Totally agree. Everything you said. Totally agree.
The
I just like the character.
Looks totally lame, but I might watch it if it's on.
Well, I mean, we're all men, and Scarlett Johansson is always going to be Scarlett Johansson.
The Black Widow was always a secondary character, a supporting role. It was always a supporting character.
But the thing is we get. Hold on, I just found out my children don't appreciate s'mores. I have to go.
But it's like there's a lot of supporting characters that did well in movies though. Blade being one of them. Blade was a supporting character. He was a supporting Spider-Man character.
D-list character.
Blade did fantastic.
Absolutely.
Before
that was the movie that started the real boom.
Yeah, but Blade doesn't play friendly with the MCU model.
Yeah, you're right.
He was his own character before.
Yeah, well, he was under Dracula.
Tomb of Dracula was where.
Yeah, he came into Dracula, but they made him his own character with the entire what was it?
I was personally
thing.
Yeah,
I was personally introduced to Blade through the Spider-Man comics.
Okay, cool.
So,
yeah,
as a little kid, man, I remember I loved Shaft, right? And I was just like, oh my god, it's Shaft as like a vampire slayer, and he's throwing wooden knives. Oh, I love that shit, man.
Yeah, Blade was great. It was a great concept. It was everything about it was spot on.
And the first two movies were fire. They were really good. That was a character that needed to be updated. You couldn't have him with a big afro going solid. Right?
Yeah.
You had to update him, and they updated him perfectly.
That was great. It was spot on. And it was so cool. I remember just seeing the Marvel logo at the beginning of the movie when I saw it at the theater. I mean, everything about that movie was great.
Surreal. Yeah.
There was a little vampire trend going on at the time. I think John Carpenter had done a vampire movie or something. But I'm feeling kind of sad and melancholy, I guess, because I just feel like we've reached the peak. We've sort of had that golden age of Marvel. Yeah. When you were a kid, how many of you said, okay, who's going to play Logan in the X-Men movie or whatever, right? There's never going to be another Hugh Jackman. There's never going to be the things that we've had. They've done Spider-Man as good as they're ever going to do it. They've done Captain America as good as they're ever going to do it. And now they're taking what they're doing with the Falcon and Winter Soldier, in my mind, is abysmal. It's depressing. It's sad. It's the future of Marvel. Falcon, I don't like the idea of Falcon taking the Captain America mantle for one reason. He was already a hero as the Falcon. He didn't need the hand-me-down Captain America title. Yeah. He's the Falcon, man.
Right.
That's why it didn't work as a comic when they tried it either.
Yeah. I think they're not going to keep him but they did have the Falcon be Captain America in the comics for a little bit a long time ago, and actually Bucky picked up the shield for a long time. But the thing is what's weird is that Steve Rogers came back.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Well, they did the Wolf Cap in the comics. They don't need to do a movie or a TV series about every little nuance about the comics.
But I remember there was also another Captain America that took the mantle for a freaking long time that became the U.S. agent after a while.
Yes.
Yeah,
there were in the and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I actually enjoy that series.
Okay.
I don't love it.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like, it's darker because it's like, they're going like Jason Bourne with it.
Yeah. Okay.
right?
Well, in WandaVision
so it's
was
like
dark.
you're going to like a different, right? They're different genres, so it's
And-
like, okay, let's do this like a Cold War, like a spy movie.
And you got to remember the difference. TV with the lead to watch a half an hour show over and over and over again is one approach versus a summer blockbuster. There's two different film approaches there.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think it's going to work out for them. I think they're just starting to figure out how to do television. The Mandalorian, in my mind, was great. I'm really pissed that they fired Gina Carano. I think that was stupid. And of course, so do the money people. We'll see what happens. But none of the 8 or 9 other shows that they announced have got my, I'm not hard about any of them. Maybe they, and in the big announcement, when they show these posters with all the title cards, they don't show the Book of Boba Fett, which I thought that was your big thing. One. Yeah. Why not show that one? So I don't know about the Obi-Wan. I mean, I hope it's good. I can imagine great things they might do for it, but never underestimate the ability of Disney to let you down. And I can see them examining the toxic masculinity of Anakin for 10 episodes and me being like, Well,
keep this in mind too, though. This bubble, it's going to pop.
Yeah.
Just like political correctness died out, right? At the end of the 90s. Sure. I was in college when that shit started to take off. Now, here's the thing. I'm a lefty.
The same thing.
Died on the wall lefty. I'm a registered Green Party.
Hold on. I got to put a check here. You live in New York, and political correctness is not dead there.
Yeah, no shit. It's called it's called social justice, yo.
There you go. It's just rebranded.
The name changed.
Yeah,
right?
Rebranded.
It was a rebranded, right?
Yeah.
But it died for a while.
Yeah.
And it died towards the end of the 90s, and the death knell was, I remember distinctly, it was the South Park movie. Because even PC people were feeling smothered. They were feeling stifled. You couldn't laugh at anything. And they loved this movie. And then things loosened up for a while. Yeah. But then, of course, Twitter came along. And the SJWs were smart in the way that they weaponized Twitter. But here's the thing. It's like, those people, trust me, they hate me a lot more than they hate you, Chris. Because they see people like me, people who are on the left, who are like, fuck this censorship bullshit. Yeah. They see us as traitors.
You're a plastic liberal, man. Free speech, anti-war, no fascism, keep corporates out of the government. I want the government to stay out of my bedroom, out of my refrigerator, out of where I go to church.
Out of my body.
Out of my health. Don't tell me to wear a mask.
But the government can get in my bedroom if they bend over and grab their ankles.
Well, now we're going back to the beginnings of the show. That's the church show. That's coming up next.
No, that's on Saturday.
Oh, okay. That's this Saturday. Okay. Bookmark it now. Yeah.
We have wandered far afield.
Oh, yeah.
Of what you were going to share with us. And I just got to say, I normally abhor gossip. I like drama over there, me over here, right? I just avoid it.
I love it.
But I love this kind of fucking gossip because it's all about people that are into fucking up other people's lives.
Okay, wait.
So I don't have to feel guilty.
Okay.
There's a difference between gossip and enjoying watching people get their comeuppance.
Yeah, man.
Well, it is gossip if it's not confirmed, I guess, or talking out of turn. It's really none of my business where Heather Antos goes to work, right? But it is what it is. So here, that's true. So she is going to affect comic books. So that does make me want to think about where she's going to be. So she posts this on Thursday morning. Big announcement. Penny reaches out. I got a scoop. I know where she's headed and I know where she ain't headed. I'm trying to find out why she's leaving Valiant. And I'm trying to find out who is her buddy in the Whisper Network that works at IDW. So she tells me she's going to IDW. That's going to be the big announcement tomorrow. And I'm like, seriously? I said, that's where she's going? It didn't seem like a good move because I was thinking IDW, like you said, Sim, they've got a huge crew over there already. All the senior staff is full. Nobody just left.
I said that.
That was church.
Church said that. Okay. Let me back that up. Can
Sorry,
you cut
Sam,
that
that
part
was-
out? I'm going to
that
give
was
that
mine.
credit to Church. Real quick.
Yeah, give it to Church, and
How could
I
you,
agree.
Chris? How could you?
And I agree.
So to me it was, so she wrote it, we got the screenshots, we saw why. The bottom line is she is not welcome at DC Comics, not because of who she is in general or because she doesn't have the chops, but really because Jim Lee, the publisher at DC Comics, is very tight with Jay Lee. And Heather Antos trashed Jay Lee when Jay Lee did a cover for Ethan Van Sciver.
That's right.
And said he's CG, he's a hate group, he's aligned with a hate group. Tom King came out and made a big ass of himself.
Yeah, he did.
Tom King is already on people's bad list because they're getting upset over things like the Heroes in Crisis, where he turned Wally West into a psychopathic murderer, and where the big letdown with Batman and Catwoman. Oh yeah, and I don't even know what's Rorschach about or Strange Adventures. I can't even keep up. Tom King has peaked. In my mind, he's
a CIA asset too. Honest to God,
that's true.
That he's doing psyops there.
Maybe so. I don't know what's going on, but I don't read him anymore. I actively avoid him. I'm one of these completists. I don't know about you guys, but if I get like issues 1, 2, 3, and it's a 6 issue or a 12 issue, I'll tend to go ahead and get it all, or I'll sell those issues and get the trade or whatever.
Yep.
His last 2. I just didn't finish because Jay Lee was drawing one of the variant covers of Tom King's issue number 1 of Rorschach. He trashes Jay Lee the week that issue is coming out. Heather Antos doubles down and piles on and gets all her people to go after Jay Lee. Jay Lee's not even there. He's at it. He's on a vacation. No. His dog died that weekend. He wasn't even on social media.
And then Tom King puts out this thing like in remorse for dog or some shit.
Yeah, but it was too late. It was too late by then because the Whisper Network acolytes were saying things like, "I don't care if his dog died." Guys like Tim Doyle were out there posting stuff. Now all that mess, Penny goes through all that in the article. Okay, I don't know if Drew has shared the link. Maybe he has. If he hasn't, maybe he will. Or whatever.
I'll share the link now.
Yeah, just Penny Parker, Google Bleeding Full. You'll find it. It's a couple days old because it came out Thursday night. The whole point was, I want to scoop Heather and I want to tell stories out of turn about why she's not going to DC. People ought to know about her behavior, and if they don't know, let's talk about it. So even after Tom King apologized, because Jim Lee told Tom King, "Hey, you're going to get this worked out. That's not cool." Jay Lee and I go way back. They're not related, but they do share the same last name and heritage. And so Tom King apologized profusely, said we're all good to Jay Lee. Jay Lee was like, "We are not all good." That was uncool. He was pissed off. Heather kept doubling down. Heather's friends kept doubling down, and she never apologized.
Well, that's because they don't believe in apologies. To them, an apology is an admission of guilt. That's why you never You've seen it before. People make the mistake of apologizing to these motherfuckers.
Well, let me say this in this culture war. Don't ever apologize for somebody else being upset with your thoughts.
Yeah.
Like you might say, "Look, I'm sorry that you're been out of shape and triggered, but that was kind of the point. So great. I'm glad you're triggered. If it hurts your feelings, just turn me off, block me." That's what the mute and block button is.
As they like to say, sorry, not sorry.
Or better yet, it wasn't for you. This humor's not for you.
Well,
exactly.
Now, one thing I do want to bring up is, and you can correct me on this, I could be completely wrong, but I feel like even up into like the 2010s with the Rebirth saga, DC kept a little bit of a firmer hand on their editorials and what they were putting out. Like it might not have been, gourmet chicken salad, but it definitely wasn't the chicken chip Marvel was putting out with Captain Marvel #1 every 6 months.
Oh God.
Well, listen, I didn't like Dan DiDio, but he was much more firm and had vision.
Dio.
Yeah, he had a stronger hand, I'll say, because Jim Lee, when everything was shutting down last year for COVID, Jim Lee was nowhere to be found. We needed him to come out and say something about what DC was going to do, and he was silent. He was doing an auction drawing somewhere, going back to what he knew. He's not a publisher. He's a figurehead.
Well, yeah,
Right.
That's the thing is he's an artist, right? So
Yeah.
I know, like, as a writer, I'm like really not good at managerial shit. No.
Yeah.
Well,
You're creative.
here's the thing. Jim Lee is the old guard. He's like one of the last of the old guard at DC.
Yeah.
DC has alienated all of their talent because of their politics and the talent they brought in because they can't afford good talent.
I don't even know if that's it. They can't afford good talent, but they're not putting their money there. They've got people like. Has anyone ever looked at Daniel Cherry's history of activism? Woke activism. Daniel Cherry's the new creative guy over there. He's awful, and it's going to only get worse at DC.
At DC?
Well, here's the thing. It's not even
Daniel
that.
Cherry. Look him up.
Gotcha.
It's them paying the big bucks to people like fucking. Oh God, what's his name from Marvel? He fucks everything up.
Axel Alonso, CB Cebulski.
No, the writer,
Tom
Brian Michael
Brevoort.
Bendis.
Oh yeah, Bendis. Well, Bendis is off. He's off the good books, but I don't even know that DC made a good point with the Future State. Now, think about this for a minute. Future State is where everything's headed. So if you didn't like it, you're not going to want to read anything because all the books are going to start going there.
Well, Future State doesn't mean anything anymore, though, because
no, it does. They're bereft of creative ideas. That's the only flag planted. There's no leadership there, man. Trust me. That's where it's headed. Here's the pathetic thing.
Here's the thing, though. Even if they were headed to Future State, or Future State, or whatever the fuck it was, I have a couple of those books just because of the holographic covers. But the thing is, even if they were headed to that ending of the DCU, that would be an ending. It'll be another
reset. No, that's right. That's right. I mean, look, Black Label's fine, and if you guys missed out on The Last God, which was a 12-issue maxi series,
was awesome.
Listen, that was good. The Last God was good. Don't choke. I think what's even worse is CB Cebulski's not even that good a creator, and he's even weaker. They run all over him. Sana Amanat is in charge at Marvel. Make no mistake.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you something else about Marvel that's really depressing. They come out with the Captain America, United States of Captain America, right? So it's all these derivatives. You've got the homeless boy, LGBTQ character, Captain America of the train tracks for the homeless people. Then you got this new one, the Flojo one leg sleeve wearing woman of color of Harrisburg, and on and on. All these derivatives. Listen, isn't it a shame that the last original characters that Marvel came up with were Snowflake and Safe Space? I mean, that was original, non-derivative characters. That's Marvel, guys. They've got nothing to offer, and nothing new or fresh is coming out before the Penguin.
I'll argue with you a little bit that Snowflake was not an original character. It was just a person of color version of Iceman because they made him gay years earlier.
Well, okay, you got a point. That's arguable. Arguably true.
Yeah, there's a frightening logic behind that argument.
But I mean, guys, that's the pathetic nature of where Marvel is. It's so weak. And what's sad is, and I'm not the first person to mention this, it's almost like all the writers and creators at these places, not all of them. I mean, guys like Tinian and others, they care about the craft, but most of the ones, the writers now just seem to be kind of ashamed that they write comic books. It's like, let's just make fun. Let's have the characters make fun of each other. Let's make Peter Parker just a soy boy that's always put down by women. It's really sad. I was reading not War and Remembrance, I think, the Captain America run that John Byrne did back in the mid 80s. Dude, that was when comics.
Hold on, I gotta unzip my pants.
All right. So while Church is filling himself up,
was it John
thing,
Byrne? Is that what did it for him?
The thing that we have to the thing that we have to consider is why the people who have money let this stuff happen. Okay. And the actual answer is that the indie world, not the current indie world, but the indie world a few years ago, right? When comics was dying on its own, okay, by themselves, just nobody was buying comics, okay. When they were dying on their own, before any kind of CG or any of that kind of stuff, the indie comics world was making a lot of money because the gay community would buy comics just because they were gay-related comics.
Sure.
Right. There was a lot of what you would call, transgender and gay and LGBT-friendly comic series that were coming out that were making money. And they were making more money than the series that they were putting out, and they were putting out too much stuff. So obviously the saturation was spreading around. Overall, they were making more, but individually they weren't making, or they figured, what, we can make more if we dabble in this market, right?
Well,
but the problem is that you have a lot of parents who aren't happy with you putting LGBT stuff in front of the comic, their kid. They're like, they've been buying their 10-year-old boy or whatever this stuff, and they're like, now you're putting this crap in front of them, and like, hey, I cannot.
Well, as a consumer,
Boom's doing
I can
okay.
actually, as a consumer and a consumer only, like never have taken a stride into the creative sphere. Not even as a highly ranked critic, such as Bleeding Fool might be, but just as a consumer, somebody who just buys and consumes product based on merit and loyalty or whatever. I can say that the era that Drew was talking about, they started introducing more LGBTQ friendly content. It wasn't just that. Like, the industry took a shift towards that crowd because of Tumblr, I would venture to say. But even in that first venture, talented artists and writers were at the helm to lead us into this new frontier of LGBTQ friendly comics. And I personally, as a consumer, bought a book called Red Queens in its first run. And I think even Chris can back me up in saying that was a well-produced book.
Yep.
It might not have been a right-friendly creative team or message in the book, but the book itself was quality.
Yep.
And you lost that in future years because people looked at that model and they said, "Oh, this makes money." Well, these people will work for peanuts. So
it's about the purpose of why the books were selling. See, the books didn't have to be good story or good art because the people that were buying them for the hype around them weren't actually reading them.
Well,
I think there are gay readers that want to see themselves in books.
Obviously, it's not across the. I'm not speaking across the board. I'm speaking as a mass majority of business.
Well, I think it's the pandering though that is so gross, right? I mean, now we have Pride Month, competing Pride covers. That is going to what you said, Drew. You alluded to it because you said parents don't want to see that. Well, parents. And that's their prerogative to raise their kids however they want. And you said it earlier, Disney knows that the older adults, the parents, are the money. So it doesn't make sense if you're trying to pander to a very niche market, okay? Because, hey, there can be all the gay comic books in the world. I don't currently read any of them. Is it because I'm a bigot? No, it just doesn't appeal to me. I'm not interested in that story. I'm not interested in that drama, right? It doesn't mean that it doesn't belong somewhere.
Yeah,
but it's not gonna appear on my pull list. Yeah, it's not for me.
Right. If American comics could be more like Japanese comics, where there's literally something for
everybody.
Yeah. Right. But I don't know.
No.
Sometimes I think what they're doing is they're targeting libraries, and they're also thinking, oh, maybe these really woke parents will buy this for their kids.
Sure.
But that's not happening.
Well, even the guy that did Snowflake and Safe Space, Kibble Smith, his big book, his claim to fame was Santa and his husband, and it's a gay, biracial couple, two guys, Santa and his husband. I mean,
that's what got him the job.
But he didn't do that because he had always thought, wouldn't it be great if we could do a Christmas gay story? He just most of it's trolling. Don't make no mistake, guys. A lot of times it's bait. You've seen the meme where it's like, hey, that's bait. And we go for it. Conservatives at least do almost every
time. Every time.
Yeah.
Well, like how in the 90s, or it wasn't really the 90s, what am I saying? But more like in the early 2000s. Yeah. Like I remember, when I got to know Denny O'Neil a little bit, I like anybody else was like, proudly, right? Guy was just awesome, right? Such a cool dude. Yeah. But
classic liberal too, by the way.
Classic liberal.
Yeah.
It talked about like, hey, Chuck Dixon, like politically, we couldn't be more further apart, but that guy can write a damn comic book.
Yep.
And I'd give him a job any old time, right?
And he did. Yeah.
And he did. So, we're like, well, how do
you? Are you partaking, Brian? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Damn right I am.
It is 420. I'm proud of you. It's not legal here in Tennessee, so
I am here in New York.
Yeah. No, nice. Good for you. Thank you for that.
Thank
you for your service.
You're most welcome. But he was like, you want to break into comics? Break into the movies.
Yeah.
Basically, the writers suddenly were all out of work.
Yep.
TV and movie people.
Yeah.
Screenwriters, right?
Yep.
And novelists. But those were people who knew how to tell a story, and generally speaking, they were fans of the comics that they were then writing.
That's
right.
The key.
J. Michael Straczynski. I could write Thor.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, you know, because you had these people that also had stature, so they could come in. Somebody like Greg Pak is like, I want to do the Hulk. Right.
Yeah.
And so
again,
we got awesome comics that way. Christos Engage.
Ever.
Well, but think about this. Think about what you just said. Does anybody here truly think that Ta-Nehisi Coates was a Captain America fan ever?
No.
Ever?
No.
Of course not. It was. We want you to
Well,
deconstruct Captain America. Just make us
like a big old shit on
whip our racism to death, please.
Well,
That's what that was.
Let me step in as a comic fan here. You just said the key word there. Deconstruct Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
Who here, with a show of hands, who here remembers the Amalgam Universe?
I do.
Got it collected.
Oh, what
Okay.
was that? That sounds really familiar.
Where they
93
mixed
to
the Marvel and
95.
DC.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, that shit was awesome.
Yeah.
So you deconstruct characters like Wolverine, Logan, and Old Man Logan.
Mm-hmm.
You deconstruct characters like Batman with The Dark Knight Returns. You never deconstruct the Superman or the Captain America. And these are the characters that merge. Okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
When you deconstruct Superman, you get the fucking Snyder cut.
Yep.
When you deconstruct Captain America, you get whatever this bullshit that's coming out of fucking Marvel right now is.
That's a shame. I haven't wanted to. Nick Spencer started it, and Ta-Nehisi Coates killed it for me. Mark Waid tried to do it, and all it was he's going to battle the KKK. I'm like, I'm out. I mean,
No. Let me, and this is rare for me, but let me jump to the defense of Mark Waid. Mark Waid actually deconstructed Superman in a good way.
Oh, Kingdom Come is classic. Don't get
No,
me wrong. He's
no,
talented.
Oh yeah. I'll never take like credit away from like people that
Birthright.
actually have talent.
Yeah.
Birthright was awesome.
Irredeemable.
Okay, Irredeemable. I haven't read it yet.
Irredeemable is the deconstruction of Superman. It's what happens if Superman takes 10 minutes off.
Haven't read it yet. It's in my stack, so don't spoil it.
Pull it up to the top. That's all I'm saying.
I just did. Let me get back to Heather real quick because I can't stay on too long. Oh wow,
Absolutely.
I got money. So to me, the buried lead wasn't that she's going to IDW. It wasn't that she's never going to work for DC, at least under current management. To me, it was we had a few people that were like, "Oh look, Penny's fake. She doesn't have scoops. This is all public knowledge. Blah, blah, blah. What it proved was Penny has the insider connections.
Yeah.
Because Heather did not make her announcement the following morning like she said. She waited until 5 p.m. Friday, the end of the business day. She did come out and announce it. She didn't say anything about us scooping it or anything like that, but a lot of people already said, yeah, we already heard it on Bleeding Fool when she did post it. So in my mind, it was really nothing more than Penny saying, hey, I'm the real deal, Lucille. And the next time I tell you something, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Because I kind of give her a hard time too. I mean, I had to up my liability insurance. We're Bleeding Fool Media LLC now, pretty much because of the communications that we got over her first Whisper Network thing. So
hell yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean it's scary.
That's great.
Guys, I've got to bail. That sucks. Can I tell you a cool little story we've got in the morning that I hope you guys will check out sometime tomorrow?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
The new thing that they're going to do.
Is this an exclusive?
No, not really, because Chuck Dixon already said something about it on his Facebook. There's my name drop for you, Brian. But now that streaming has become such a big deal and digital, one of the things Bleeding Fool has planted our flag on is physical media. I mean, digital comics are great, streaming is great, but if you liked being able to see Daryl Hannah's bodacious behind in Splash, you're never going to see it on Disney Plus, and they're not going to tell you that it's been modified. If you ever wanted to see Max Bemis's take on Batman, the digital comic that you bought, it was there one day, and then the next day you opened up your Kindle and it wasn't there. It was a different story. You're never going to see that again. Or whether it's Batman Damned, the Batwang, it's all gone because the digital rights management, you don't own these books, these movies, anything that you're digitally hosting on a platform or streaming.
Yep.
That's why we're pirating things.
That's
Chris.
what.
Well, listen, if you listen, I don't blame you if you sail the high seas, but I will say this: the article tomorrow tells you how to have your own home media server if you don't already. That's the back half of the story. The front half of the story is now there are media companies that are going to start doing product placement in your favorite movies and TVs. You may watch it this season and then 6 months later watch it again, and it will be a different product or billboard.
No way.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So you might watch Blade Runner, and it won't be Pan Am ads. It'll be American Airline ads up on the billboard. I mean, who knows?
I'm actually surprised this has taken so long to be implemented.
I don't disagree with that.
It's
Church.
shocking, but it's not surprising.
So they already did with Demolition Man.
Yeah, you're right. Listen, check it out in the morning. Check out Bleeding Fool anytime. We love comments. We love people just kind of sharing what we're doing. And, the whole point of Bleeding Fool really was because I got silenced over at Bleeding Cool in their comment section because I said they were doing some big diverse. I don't know if it was a Joe Glass article, but everybody was praising it because it was all this diversity on his comic, and he was announcing all the diversity. And I said, guys, I don't remember there being this much emphasis on diversity back in the mid 80s when X-Men 94 came out. And it was probably the most diverse comic of all time up until that point. And I said, and they weren't pushing that aspect in any of the marketing. It was just to hear some cool characters. Hope you enjoy the stories. And the stories were great. And
they were colorful.
And they shadow banned me for that.
Well, the thing is they
so I said, I'm going to start my own website, jackass.
Hell yeah. Well,
But
remember
the
DeCampi clause? The DeCampi clause, that was like number 2. Rule number 1. What was rule number 1? Stay the hell away from Rich Johnston and those maniacs at Bleeding Cool. I told you how they did an interview with me, and then threatened me.
Oh my, yeah. You need your own blog. We need to listen. I've got to send you some interview questions, right?
Lunatics.
Yeah.
And because you got another Six-Gun Gorilla project going.
That's the Drew Love, Captain Love exclusive scoop here. Yeah. Brian interview coming.
Hell yeah.
It is. It's incoming.
Chris,
it's incoming. Yeah.
Thank you
I
so
enjoyed
much
it.
for your support.
Love
man.
all
Thank
you
so
guys.
much.
Drew, thanks for inviting me on. Sim, good to
Thanks
see
for
you.
coming.
Hey, man, your pinup
Chris.
is fully colored and in the book. You know this, right? I hope you
Yeah,
know
I know. Yeah,
Okay.
I do. It's freaking
It
cool.
looks
Oh, I wanna see
beautiful.
that shit.
Church, good chatting with you. Brian, as always, I'm glad you're
Hail,
here. As a matter of
Chris.
fact, I even said to Drew, I said, will Sim and Brian be there? I hope so, because they're a lot of fun. So,
Yeah, he
Thanks,
hated
man.
me. He
Thanks.
didn't want me here.
Wouldn't miss it.
no,
Thank
no.
you so much. And
Actually,
thank you so much for what you've done
hey,
for this
Drew,
community,
I'll
brother.
come on anytime, but we'll talk about church, whether or not, next time.
You're right. Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding. Hey, I
right.
appreciate
Whether or
it.
not to send me the link.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys.
Hail,
Appreciate
brother.
See
it.
you, Chris.
Later.
Talk to you, Karen, man.
Hey,
Peace and
one
love,
last thing.
Chris.
We are in
Yeah.
a golden age of independent creators, and you
Got
guys
that
are
right.
here doing it. We've just got to
Fucking
get it
hell.
united enough so that everyone knows about it. Bleeding Full talks about books every Wednesday and throughout, but tomorrow is Wednesday. No, not quite.
No,
Or
it
is
is.
it?
It is.
Yes,
Tomorrow
yes.
Wednesday.
My days are running together. Tomorrow we are doing
I'll see you all
another
the time.
3 more indie comics, So if you've got an indie comic, if you're watching, if you know people, tell them to send an email to contact@bleedingfull.com. I'll send them some interview questions.
I
We will
got a
feature them.
concept.
Awesome.
I need a writer and an artist for. Will you feature that?
No, but keep trying. Don't give up. It's a golden age. All right, guys. Appreciate it.
Peace out, Chris.
Later,
Thank
brother.
you, man. Oh, I love that dude.
Yeah, he's good people, man.
Yeah, he is. He's done a
He
lot for
didn't
this
even
community.
get uncomfortable when I mentioned bukkakes earlier.
We weren't broadcasting.
Tacky.
We weren't broadcasting when we were talking about that church.
Oh man. Oh, what up, Greg's in the chat? Let's see who else
Look,
is
the
in
only
there.
reason I was here
Oh,
was I was
Gargoyle,
promised
Pops.
bukkakes.
Pops. Yeah, El Gargoyle.
Yeah, thank you guys for
Edwin was
for
here
tuning in.
earlier. Lothar. What's up, Lothar, if you're still here?
Yeah, man. What up, Lothar D?
Hail the chat.
Hail the chat.
So let's take a look at this here. Let's see what we got here.
You got Kite behind you.
Greg
do.
Levitre in the chat has been going off. Like he has some madness.
So we have somebody who is $90 away from his freaking fixed goal.
Yeah, man.
$90.
Jesus.
I need to get. I need to be pimping this thing a little bit harder. But it's,
So somebody who has not bought anything yet, go and buy his set of books for $100 and get him past that fixed goal. Dang it!
yeah, and for $100 you get 8 comic books. So
Yeah,
I think that's
and a reach
that's a
around
pretty
from
sweet
Brian.
deal. And a reach around for me too. I will toss your salad with jelly, not syrup. No, I'm sorry, with syrup, not jelly.
Uh-huh.
Because I love my fans like that. What can I say? I love my backers. I love my readers. People have been, the feedback on the book has just been so positive. I'm super grateful. Like I always say, you never know when you put a book out if it's gonna click with people or not. Mine has. First campaign did about 10K. Last one did just a little under 20, hoping that this one is going to go up, and that maybe we can get it into the little big leagues, and I will be able to offer you cooler and cooler stuff and make the book fatter and fatter and fatter.
And fatter.
And fatter. Yeah, because, we got people like Phil out there.
Be careful. Be careful. One thing though, I always tell this to people that add to the book as stretch goals.
Yeah.
Shipping. Okay.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah. If you add too much to the package,
I'll fuck you up.
It'll fuck you up on shipping.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm careful about all that shit, man. This is my third campaign. I delivered on the last 2, so people know I'll deliver on this one. It's just a little odd because the last 2 campaigns I had pretty much a finished book when I started the campaign. This is the first time where I'm actually doing Indiegogo the way that Indiegogo is actually supposed to work, which is to say, you send me your money, and then I pay Preston Acevedo to draw the damn thing, and then we print the damn thing, and we get it out to you. And super happy to have Preston as the artist on this, picking up art duties from the late great Adrian Sibar, and it's going to be killer. This is like the chapter in the story that's kind of like where everything goes to shit for the heroes. This is the previous issue was the big gun down. That was the dream stage. This is the nightmare stage, and it's going to get a little dark, but it's also going to be first and foremost exciting and with a sense of fun and adventure.
Well, let's watch the video real fast.
Yeah, it's the new cut, new Bronson Gorilla cut. Thank you, Bronson Gorilla.
Is it my imagination, or that seems short?
It's shorter.
It's
Bronson agreed with
the new edit, yeah.
Yeah, that's the new edit, and Bronson, God bless him, he is going to, as more art comes in. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
So check it out, Brian. Just want you to see something.
All right, refresh the campaign page. Oh, what is that?
Oh, hell yeah! Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Institution.
Booyah!
He is everybody. Six-Gun Gorilla is funded. Let's all tweet that out and say congrats to Brian.
And thanks to everybody who has backed or has, retweeted and or had me on their streams, all that shit. Just the whole community. Thank you very much. I'm so happy. I am so feel so blessed to be a part of this scene and able to live the dream to actually make comics.
Did getting you to funded secure your spot on the Gospel of Comics this Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard?
I don't know. You'd have to tell me about that, wouldn't you?
I mean, I just invited you, so the ball's in your court, sir.
Wait, what time is that? Because you got to understand,
10 p.m. Eastern Standard. You're in New York, right?
Yeah.
So 10 p.m.
What day? Saturday. Okay.
Holiday.
All right, because
an hour from
I'm a little
now,
ADD. I got to write this shit down.
An hour from now.
You're 7 o'clock your time on Saturday.
Yes.
He's in New York.
Isn't that's when it goes on? 7 o'clock his time.
No, that would be.
Oh, 10 o'clock your time. Yeah,
he's on Eastern time just like me. I'm in Arkansas, you fuck.
Yeah, well, I'm on brain fried time. So
yeah, man, I hear that. Oh God, yeah.
Anyway, congratulations on funding.
Thanks, man.
Give me my books so I can review
them. Oh, absolutely. You shan't be disappointed. I haven't had a single unhappy customer.
I just bought them all, so I need them all.
Yes, I shall. Ye shall be hooked up, sir.
Everybody in the chat right now, if you don't have all the Six-Gun books, pull your wallet out and look at your computer and will it to buy you all the Six-Gun Gorilla books because you need them all.
Yes, you will. Well, yeah. The story is going to be incomplete without all the books, and you can't get the trade paperback. So feel jealous of mine. And
and
you should. It's the story of you snooze, you lose on that.
Absolutely,
one. Brian, DM me on Twitter about getting a copy of that trade that you're going back to as well.
I do have a few lying around. The reason I'm not doing a trade for this campaign is just because it's simpler. It was too confusing for people where they were like, wait a second, one is $25 or one is like $30, and the other one is 15. Like, you
Well,
know,
the
they were
thing
confused.
is, I'm not worried about the confusion
There it is,
portion.
Sam.
I just want you to be on my shelf when I actually have a studio and a background. I want you to be on the shelf.
All right, I will see what I can do. If I forget to politely remind me, or not so politely remind me.
Well, you follow me on Twitter. You got to DM me because I'll pay you for the comic. Like, I'm not trying to get it for free.
No, it's all good, brother.
You know, billboarding for you.
That's
But what I want to do is I want to get you on the shelf because only CG books. Like, I'll have a quarter of a shelf to Drew. I'll probably have about a half a shelf to Doug Knaple by then. You know, I'll have my House books, my Clint Stewart books, my Eric Weathers books, and technically all of them are Eric Weathers books because the motherfucker letters everything, right?
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Like what isn't he lettering? That's always
he doesn't letter Captain Love.
Yeah, or Six-Gun Gorilla. So
on my books
or that.
And you can say he doesn't letter Captain Love or Six-Gun Gorilla because he's lettering the monologue to my life.
Yeah, Eric is a very busy boy.
Yeah,
and man,
and he's a cool dude too. He's been on the show. We've obviously promoted
yes.
his Battle Brick Road, and
Yep.
and I have a copy of the Foreign Skies or whatever it's called.
Foreign Agent.
No. What is his What is it?
Flying Fortress.
Flying Fortress. Flying Fortress. That's what it is. Yeah.
The World War II fighter jet feature with involving time travel and sci-fi.
Yeah.
And
It's actually it's actually a pretty good read.
It's
so.
phenomenal, and from a fan perspective, from a consumer's perspective, when you read through that book, you can actually see the evolution of the artist and the writer because of the timeline. Because of the timeline involved between issues, the fact that they're collected.
Yeah.
You can
yeah.
see
I always find that
evolution.
interesting. Yeah.
You can see like the evolution of the writer and the artist over time because so much time passed.
Right.
But their skills evolved because they worked on different projects and they researched their particular craft.
Right, and then they keep coming back to it.
Yeah, Flying Fortress is almost like a tutorial for being a comic book artist.
Oh, that's always fun. Like one of the books I got here is Preston's Rockabilly Road Trip, and if you look at Preston at the beginning, by the time you get to the end, it's like a completely different artist.
Well, I think the more relatable comparison is almost Xenotype, right? With Odie.
Odie, yeah, he's amazing. And
Scott's
is a freaking genius.
Was almost basic bitch, right? And then by the end of Xenotype, you're like, we don't deserve this art.
and I'd love to get the color version too, because you look at that art and you're like, no, you cannot color this stuff. Well, Scott's knocked that shit out of the park.
But he did it 3 times to get it right.
Exactly. Yeah, well, that's the thing, is you want to be working with people where their attitude is, let's make this better, let's keep making this better until it's like good enough. Not just good enough, but,
and
as good as we can make it.
Like, Spartan Scotsman, like, he's almost my favorite CG color. Like,
he is one of mine.
Oh, the stuff that he's doing with Sam is freaking fire, man. Amazing. The stuff that you're doing with
he's making it look like a high-grade anime.
I know.
The thing is like, with a normal colorist, right, you get an email one day and it's just like, here's this page. With Spartan Scotsman, it's just like, you get an email one day and it's like, here's this page. And then 2 hours later, he's like, here's this page again, I did something different. And then like 2 hours later, you get a page, the same fucking page, and he's like, here's this page again, but I'm also better than I was 2 hours ago.
that page with Luwani in the center there, with the entire thing, took him a week. Dude, you can zoom in. He colored almost each panel like a page.
It's
Yeah.
and he live
And there's-
streams these
Mhm.
like when it like as he's working, and you think that would be like like watching paint dry, that it would be boring, and it's actually really interesting.
Well,
I'm sorry, you're gonna say Sim?
Well, Liam said on a stream one time that Scotsman didn't charge enough for his work. Like,
Yeah,
he
I can
knows,
believe that.
he knows he knows Scotsman worked like 30 hours on a piece, and he charged him for like 10.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's somebody who I think has a great deal of humility. Most great artists do, because they keep trying to get better, trying to get to that next level.
Wait till you see his inking.
Well, I'm a technical garment designer. Like, that's what I do for trade, one of my jobs.
Interesting.
And the thing is, like, I'll spend 5 hours on a job and I'll charge an hour and a half for it. Because the 5 hours I spend, I look back on when I'm in my billing phase and I'm like, okay, well, I was researching the creation of this particular type of fabric that I had to know on page 8 for 3.5 hours. I can't really charge for that.
Right.
But I want to get the weave right, so I read about it for 3 hours.
Drew, can you share my screen for a sec?
Oh yeah.
Do it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Here's a sample test
This
of
is a
what
bouquet.
Not the Merc the series gonna look like in the Inkslayer. So this is me penciling. This is Scotsman inking
Fuck yes.
and
Why am I
Inkspot
talking
coloring.
off thinking about Witchblade right now, Sim?
So I'm sorry. It's Inkspot's coloring or
Yep.
inking?
It's me penciling, Scotsman inking, Inkspot coloring.
Oh.
That's what I said.
Man.
His inkings are yeah.
Oh man, I hope we can get him for Blood Hunt Doc Salem. That would be freaking amazing. Yeah, isn't that awesome?
Yep, that's his inks, and
he's tissue.
I know.
And the colors by Inkspot. So yeah, that's gonna be freaking awesome.
Man, they do.
Look at that facial structure.
They make your stuff look pretty, Sim. They make your stuff look pretty.
I know. And wait till you see all their stuff.
The talent you have on top will make them look good. I'm sorry, I love you, Sim.
Hey man, seriously, when you're making a comic book, it's all about making the other person look good, right?
That's
the
right.
Writer makes the artist look good. The artist makes the writer look good, and everybody
the penciler makes the inker look good.
Else.
The colorist makes the inker look good. The inker wins.
Oh man, I can't wait! I can't wait for Tales from the Natverse. That's gonna be sweet.
Think about it, though,
that's for Nat the Mert, because Nat the
Mert
is launching in Inkslayer Magazine with the story of Luani and Rose. That's gonna be penciled by me, painted by Inkspot.
Hell yeah!
Are you gonna DM me how I can buy that?
A what? DM you what?
How I can buy that magazine?
It's not out yet, bitch.
No.
Saying, are you going to tell me how I can buy it when I buy it?
Yeah.
No, it's not that you can't buy it. It's to say he doesn't want your business.
What? What are you talking about? The Inkslayer magazine? That's going to be a campaign that we're all going to be launching. It's going to be a 120-page book.
Okay.
Magazine size. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait for that, man.
It's us doing like our type of heavy metal magazine.
I'm going to have a story in that, right?
Not in the beginning.
That's okay.
I just want to point out, I just gave Brian money and he's trolling me like this. What are you doing?
That's what you get, man. That's what you get. Bait and switch, brother. Bait and switch.
I need a refund.
It's like, now I have your money, now I can be a dick to you.
But I'm already working on Tales from the Natverse too, and when you're seeing the colors, and Beacon came back on board to help out. So he's going to be handling the recoloring of Rose.
Nice.
Anyway,
Nice. Beacon's amazing,
I gotta go.
You got to go to church. Thanks for hanging out with us, brother.
Alrighty, church. Take care, man.
Well, the show's usually done by now. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we normally we do kind of take liberty at how long it usually depends on when I have to leave.
Usually when I'm this
Well, we try to keep them
obnoxious,
around
like,
an hour, usually on Tuesdays.
An
when I'm
hour or
this
less.
obnoxious,
I mean, or 2 hours or less is what we normally do. An hour
enough.
is smooth. So yeah.
Drew, you gotta pimp
Well-
your stuff, brother. We pimped mine. We pimped Sims.
We
Peace
didn't.
out, church.
Take care,
Anyway.
church.
Have a good one, guys.
You too,
You
brother.
too, man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't get into the habit of pimping out my own stuff on the show. You know, I mean, it's just as far as Captain Love, I'll do this though. I'll tell everybody a little inside thing. I'm going to send out an update either tonight or tomorrow. I finally got somebody on the phone from the post office. I have been getting some contacts and wondering why the packages weren't getting delivered overseas.
Yeah, I didn't get one.
Yeah, apparently nobody has got theirs, nor do the people who got their posters. Nobody got their posters.
Damn.
And so like there was
Sucks.
a whole shipment of foreign books, posters, and a couple of domestic.
You
like,
ship
I think 4
a
or
whole
5.
bunch at the same time, right?
I shipped them all at the same time.
Yeah.
And so what happened? So let me just finish what I'm saying. So,
Yeah,
so what,
Sucks.
yeah. So what happened is somewhere that shipment got lost.
It's
I mean-
lost.
Like between the USPS where I dropped it off and
They
somewhere where they
All the orders?
nothing has turned up, and it has been weeks, dude. You know what
Wait
I mean?
a little longer. The
Okay.
mail's still all
I
running slow because
I
they
got them on the
election.
phone, and I pushed and I found out that they don't know what happened to those packages. They don't know where they are, what they went, and they
Okay.
told me that
Can I tell you
because
one
of
thing?
can I finish like
Yeah.
letting, because there's people watching who want this information.
Okay, because it happened to me as a recipient, so that's why.
All right. So what's going on is I got them on the phone. I talked to a supervisor, and they are saying that it looks, this is not the only time this has happened. You know what I mean? At this from my post office, this seems to be the only time this has happened. Okay, and it probably won't happen again. But other post offices have experienced this because of all the cutbacks and some of the rules they have about their postal shipping, when things can get shipped. Sometimes things get thrown aside and then get disappeared. And then when they sit for too long, instead of shipping them out a month late, they throw them away. Okay. So, and this has been happening. And the supervisor said that they're working on it internally. He's not in support of it. He's nothing he can do about it. But he said that I will get refunded. He said, I got to file some paperwork. I'm going to get refunded for my shipping costs. But for everybody out there, I am going to pack and reship everything. So you're going to get your books, you're going to get your posters, you're going to get everything that didn't get out in that shipment. It's just, I'm going to take the hit. And then, and hopefully I'll get my, my reimbursement on the shipping that I spent. So
that's all they're covering is just the shipping. They're not covering the merchandise.
No.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, what I wanted to bring up to you is it happened to me with a few few campaigns that I backed, right? Not many, but it happened also with a package that I received from Joe Ball and a few others. That they pay a really big shipping, like $50-something to ship it to me, but it gets withheld at the customs, at the new custom with the new rules. And I have to pay an extra $20 to get my package.
See, I thought
so. My idea is that since you sent a whole bunch of packages, right? Yeah. Maybe they got put, and the process is maybe very long to go through all of them. But then people might have a really bad surprise though.
Well, no. Here's the thing. The thing. Okay, I that was my first impression, that they were hung up in customs or at the shipping docks or whatever, right? But the posters were all domestic. Okay, they weren't going overseas. There were like 4 packages that were domestic in that shipment bulk that did not go overseas. Yeah. So it was actually a shipment of stuff that left the post office. Not just my stuff. A lot of people's stuff. Like it all went into a truck. It went to a hub somewhere between that leaving the post office where they were initially scanned to the hub. Before it left that hub, somewhere in there, they've disappeared. So, and it was like seriously a whole shipment, which means like a truckload that went. Okay, and so yeah, I'm really pissed about it because I wish that they had told me about it or give me some kind of indication because I mean seriously, I've had like 4 people overseas saying I haven't got my book yet. It's been a long time, and I'm like, what the hell?
One of the reasons why I was told why it happens when they get withheld in customs or other infos is because of taxes. When you put a value on the thing, so that's why I say put the value of the the print of the book or something. Like don't put like a really big value on it because when it reaches custom, the other one might be getting taxed.
Also, if you're shipping to Canada, if you want to avoid Canada taxes, ship it in an envelope, not in a package. Make sure you correctly label it and make sure it's an envelope, a large flat envelope.
Yeah, there's a paper. There's a new paper for international thing where you have to put that it's a book and the value very low. So it's.
Yeah. Well, no, I've been shipping to Canada. I mean, as far as from here, the difference is the taxes are on packages, not on.
But it's really crazy that they lost an entire freaking shipment.
Yeah, no, and what's really crazy, what blew my mind, first of all, that it happened, I was like, what's going on? Because there's posters in it. There was T-shirts in it. There was, you know what I mean?
Because at first I was like Brian. I'm like, okay, it might be like some one of those things that's stuck at customs or so and so. It's delayed. It lasts like 2-3 months, right? But that you say that there was some local that disappeared. I'm like, maybe they got jumped in the same bundle and delay somewhere. But that's weird.
Yeah, that whole shipment, everything I took to the post office that day, none of it has reached anywhere.
Moved. Yeah.
And I thought just stamps.com was screwing up on the scan updates and stuff like that because it was consistent. You know what I mean? But no, after I got so many, people saying, hey, I got my book, I started making some phone calls. Let me tell you, I spent so much time on the phone trying to track that down, what happened. And finally a supervisor just told me, hey, this has been going on all over the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? It's that bad?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It really, I mean,
the post office has taken a halt. Yeah, actually, right before the election, the new postmaster apparently is where all the blame is falling. So the one that Trump appointed, that's the one that's screwing everything up. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've been wanting to destroy the postal system in this country for decades now, so they can privatize it.
Let's just say that's the only thing left to actually hurt small businesses.
Yeah,
that have been surviving.
But so I'm hoping, because I was told that if I file the right paperwork, I'm going to get my funds back because they have evidence that the shipment was lost. They know that it was lost, but they don't contact the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because obviously they didn't. The supervisor didn't say that he knew it was lost, but when he looked up the scans, I gave him, after another, and he saw that it was like a whole group of them, and the dates and where they were coming from. He said that this is part of a larger problem. You know what I mean? And then he talked about to I guess maybe to cover his butt or to keep me from flipping out and screaming at him. He told me about how it's happening all over the country, and you know what I mean. And it's due to cutbacks and scheduling things, and that people ship stuff like food and plants and pets and stuff like that that end up getting not fed, like animals shipped that are not fed. And then, you know what I mean? So they end up throwing this stuff away because they don't know what's in these packages.
Wow. That's seriously fucked up. Ass backwards, man. Ass backwards.
Yeah. So I hope that shit gets corrected someday. But
it's something that happened to me, like all my packages with Bloodhunt, right? All of them, all the books like that I mailed, that Beacon mailed, all of them, like I didn't ask. I have nobody going like, oh, I didn't get them. Maybe 2 or 3 max, right? Yeah. That's just what happened, right? And that's a good ratio. But on the original art, when it was either in a big freaking plastic, disappeared. Most of them didn't make it through. or I started using tubes. But tubes, some of them make through, most of them so far, but there's some that disappear.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to use the tubes for original art. So I buy plastic sleeves, put them in, roll them up, put them in there. I had those little caps, then I tape them. And so far, or for original art, that's what gets dude. As soon as you send like one of those big flat things, like when it's very big, it has a tendency of disappearing. That's what I've noticed.
I would imagine that that's a little bit too obvious. You know what I mean? As far as sending things, like when people send things up, like jewelry too, those things also disappear when it's like the package is the size of a jewelry box.
Especially if you put like value 250, or
right.
You put a high value on something, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, anybody who's watching, and especially the people who watch later who are wondering where your package is, I'm going to be sending out an update tonight or tomorrow. I gotta think about how I'm gonna phrase it, because I want to make sure that I don't want to freak anybody out. But everybody's gonna get their book. I have a complete list of everybody that went out that day. You know what I mean? Because again, it's all tracked through stamps.com. I'm gonna be able to, go and get every single one. Every single one of the, well, it's so I know which ones it was. You know what I mean? It's like I have the date of shipping on that, so I can go and just make sure I can just recreate every label. You know what I mean? And then basically pack everybody back up and ship everybody back out. It's I mean, it's this is it. It sucks, but it's so much more important to me that everybody gets their books than you know what I mean. It's just that's just the what I mean. It would
take the hit. You have to take the hit.
I'm just what I mean. There's more books coming out. I got people who've invested in the EP model that that there's 4 guys in Canada in that package that are executive producers.
They'll understand. I mean, look, the last batch of books I sent out from the last campaign, that was around like election time, and those took forever to get to people.
Yep.
People were like, "Where's my damn book?" And I'd send them. Luckily, stamps.com makes it real easy. You can get the tracking number, the date, all that shit. Mm. But it was like people were waiting literally 3 or 4 weeks to get a book. That's.
Well, I'm really annoyed because I think I shipped that out like a month ago, maybe a little longer. So you know what I mean? Maybe, I honestly don't know this is what we're almost in May. So that went out like early March. You know what I mean? Like the same like the couple days after everybody else was posting pictures of their books. You know what I mean? Like those had already shipped. You know what I mean? So I'm like, it's been a while. It's been a long. I thought everybody freaking, So I'm just a little irritated at the situation.
Sure.
But you know what I mean? But it's and they told me that because this happened to me, it's likely that it'll ever happen to me again in my whole life, so I don't have to worry. You know what I mean? Because it's like not a common.
What are the odds?
It's not a very common thing. You know what I mean? Right. So I don't have to worry. I mean, if it happens to me twice,
you're really gonna be pissed.
Yeah, I'm gonna be strangling my post office, postmaster. I'm gonna go down to the postmaster and be like, "Your fault."
Yeah, man. Oh God. Oh, that sucks, man. But backers are generally pretty understanding.
Well, I mean, I think everybody's gonna be.
And we know that you deliver.
Yeah, I mean,
you delivered on your previous campaigns.
It's not like I'm trying to screw anybody. The books are out there. Everybody knows the books are there.
No,
you know what I mean.
Seriously, like folks, backers watching this, you got to understand. We want to get those books in your hands.
Yeah, I really want to wrap the books twice. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, the worst that's happened to me is getting packages from like Australia or New Zealand or like Hong Kong or Japan bounced back to me because of like the wrong address. So then I have to take the hit on like the $28 to like, I mean, obviously I can't.
Yeah, you don't even want to know how much money these labels are right now. You don't even. I mean, seriously, we're talking four numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man.
we're talking four numbers.
We don't make a lot of money.
No, seriously, this is going to be like a little bit more than probably about 20% of my entire campaign is just in the shipping costs that were lost, and I'm hoping to get them back because it's just straight shipping costs. You know what I mean? The pack, because I overprint, I have surplus on that stuff.
That's good.
You know what I mean?
That's good. You know? I hate having to reorder books, man.
So I have surplus because I intended to, be able to have conventions and other giveaways and future stuff where I could have these older, things available. So I have the surplus. It's not going to cost me any more money out of pocket to restock the books. It's just going to cost me more time, more supplies, and obviously I won't be able to sell those books later. The part that hurts is the $1,000+ in shipping that I gotta pay for to get it back out. So
that sucks, brother. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, again, the post office says if I file the paperwork, I'll get it back. So, all right. So anyway,
your stuff back.
With that tragedy being spread, so everybody, thank you for coming to the show.
Real quick?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Real quick. I'm gonna be on Bancroft's stream at 11. So
tonight?
Like an hour from now. Yeah. So I'm gonna have just enough time just to stuff some food in my yam, and so. But
all
yeah,
right.
and
so go and watch.
Come check us out.
Go and watch Bancroft. Tell Bancroft I said hi. I might be able to drop in and say hi. I got so much on my freaking plate. It's unreal.
I hear you, brother. That's a fun chat though.
Yeah, no, Michael's awesome, dude. And make fun of how he draws hands while you're there. And
he's the Rob Liefeld of hands.
I just don't understand. He's actually getting a lot better at it, but it's just. I just laugh at that shit because I didn't even notice, because we had the Lucent on here, a couple of times on, to like that. I never noticed, and then like all the jokes, I'm like, and then I started paying attention. I'm like, yeah.
But that book's taking forever because he's going back and he's making that book look as beautiful as he possibly can.
Yeah. He's an incredibly nice dude. He puts on a good show, and he's very skilled. Yep. So anyway, thank you for everybody for coming. Make sure you back Nat the Merc, Tales from the Natverse. Make sure you back some Six-Gun Gorilla. He is now funded, so that stuff's going in demand, but who knows how long he'll leave it in demand. And then if you want to back some Captain Love, apparently I'm getting into shipping mode again.
Before we close, did I show you guys those two last pages I got from Scotsman?
No, you haven't, Sam.
Oh no,
not yet. Mm-mm.
Would you like to see?
Sure.
I think so.
Okay, give me a sec. Just 1 second.
Oh, and from a tie 2 later tonight. If you're around.
Yeah, I know. I'm downloading it. Hold on, let me go get them. Here's one. I've only shown them on the morning roast. So here they are, just before we close. Boom, boom. Remember that page where you see the Loani shot on the campaign?
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up at the strip bar, Boobarama?
Mm-hmm.
This is right after.
Oh, whoa. Oh, man. Oh,
see what I mean when I say... So
wow.
He's walking with the little woman that he walked out with.
Yeah.
And they're cock-blocking him. And he's not impressed.
Yeah, nonplussed.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Sold. That's what I'm talking about.
Like, whoops, more effect than I thought. Type of thing. And then that's where that shot came from.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's amazing.
See what I mean when I say the Neville details that he goes in colors?
Oh, my God.
Like he pushes it to the next level.
Yeah, he does.
And wait till you see the entire mix of me penciling, him inking, and dude, ink spot coloring. I can't wait.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But yeah, that's Tales on an Adverse 1. That's in Tales on an Adverse 1.
It's fucking awesome. Oh, wasn't I supposed to be on Evening Roast tonight?
Yep, at 10.
At 10. Oh,
Yeah.
so I got like 10 minutes to get some food in my yam.
All right,
Sorry about that, guys.
On that note, we're going to have to sign off. Everybody, thank
Peace
you for
out.
coming. We'll talk to you later.
Later.